Today we have the Thule Roof Rack with the 53-inch long wing bars and attached to our raised rails of our 2022 Toyota 4Runner. Today we're going to talk about how this fits on the 4Runner, why you might want to upgrade from your factory bars to these bars, what your other options are, and I'll also show you how to get this all installed. You might be interested in a roof rack like this if you want to carry around larger, heavier items. This 4Runner used to have the factory roof rack, and that one was super close to the roof, so we were very limited on the things that could actually attach around those bars. Not to mention that they didn't have the same type of weight capacity that I would expect from a more solid roof rack like what we have here. So with this Thule roof rack, this consists of two parts. You have your crossbars and you have your towers paired together. So use our fit guide here at eTrailer to make sure you get the right fit for your 4Runner. These are 53-inch long bars, which is a recommended fit from Thule. I like this fit because we have a good amount of overhang, and overhang is measured from the tower to right before the end cap. I have it around 3 inches. Now that measurement will depend on how you install this and where you install this on your roof rack, but that's pretty good because then if you want to clamp things around the edge, you can totally do so, which is helpful on the 4Runner, makes things a little bit easier to reach. Your next measurements are going to be for your roof clearances. So the factory roof rack installs in the middle of those tracks, and that's really close to the roof. So compared to that, you have a lot more clearance underneath these bars. Measuring from the top of the roof to the bottom of the bars, I have it around 3 inches of space, and that's decently tall. You are then able to carry things that clamp around and not worry about scratching things up. Next is going to be top of the crossbar to the top of the roof. And here we have it at around 4 inches, maybe 4¼ inches, depending on where you measure. That's where your cargo sits. So imagine you have skis with extra tall bindings. You make sure that those bindings have space and clearance. And if you don't, then you can find an accessory available here at eTrailer that gives you that extra height. So pretty good clearances here with our wing bars. Next measurement is crossbar spread. Since you have raised rails, you could put your crossbars pretty much anywhere you want on your rails. Now, since those raised rails sit a little bit close to the back of the car, I try to get my roof rack as more forward as I can get it. Now, there's recommended spots that you would use with your factory bars. I ignore those because I need to make sure that my crossbars fit where my accessories need them to go. So, crossbar spread, I measure front to front, 21½ inches, when we can go as far back as 36 or 37 inches for crossbar spread. Now these are going to be the WingBar Evo crossbars, a more aerodynamic bar. Now I don't have the rubber strips up top here just yet, but those come with your bar and they prevent wind drag and wind noise along with the aerodynamic shape. Now, this is going to make for an open track where you can also mount your T-track mounted accessories covered by this flippable end cap. What supports the weight, though, is going to be this tower. And this is a clamp style of a tower or foot pack where we have this base that goes around your raised rail, and then we have this rubber sides to help cushion but also distribute the weight. Now, with this design, I would have preferred a little bit more of a perfect fit around our tower, but you'll also notice that this does fit around the lip of the rail, still giving us very good stability. So I'm not too concerned with this coming off anytime soon, especially if you have it torqued down properly. To get your roof rack installed, it's very simple. Now, you do have to do a little bit of prep work in the beginning, but it's much faster from then. Now, I already installed the rear crossbar, and we're going to install the front crossbar together. It starts with the actual crossbar. On top of your crossbar, you first have to start with installing the rubber strips. And these are just pushed into place. There's going to be 2 different strips, one for each side. Now, I'm not going to install ours today because this is more of a test fit, but do that first. Next, flip your crossbar over because you're going to remove the end cap. To remove it, you press down on the tab as you pull the end cap out. This is always a little tricky for me, but I got it. So now we can slide our tower on over. So this comes pre-assembled. You simply slide it in through the end of your crossbar, and then you pop that end cap back in. Once you've done that with both towers, you're then going to put this onto your raised rail and fit this clamps into place. Don't be too concerned about the placement because now you can go around and take your measurements. 3 measurements. First is going to be the crossbar to the 4Runner. And that way you can make sure that your crossbars are on the same spot on each side. Next measurement is going to be the crossbar to the other crossbar. And then the third measurement is going to be the overhang. So how much past the tower does your crossbar sit? Is it the same as the other side? If yes to all 3 measurements, then you're ready to tighten down your clamp. It's very important to push down on your tower so that it can properly fit around the rail. Since this clamp has a lip, you really want to make sure that you have as much contact with your rail as possible. I have found that there is a little bit of a gap there, but enough contact where I'm comfortable with its security. These clamps are set to 4 Newton meters, and you are going to get a torque tool included that's also set to 4 Newton meters. So as you're rotating this bolt and tightening down, once you've reached that set torque, your tool is going to click. I like to click twice like a gas gap, and I need to make sure that all 4 towers are at 4 Newton meters torque. When everything is torqued down, I like to give it the good old shake test to make sure that nothing moves. That bolt is going to tighten down both your crossbar as well as your tower. Cap it all off with an end cap that pops right in. When you need to remove it, you do have to press underneath here at that button. Now these end caps come with plastic lock cores, so you just use a flathead screwdriver to turn that lock core over, and that provides a very tight fit. Now, if you choose to, you could switch these out for metal lock cores. They are sold separately, but you can then get all your Thule items keyed alike if that's the path you want to go. And that's going to be how you get your roof rack set up. Whenever you need to take off these crossbars, just make sure that you have either the back of a key or a flathead screwdriver to remove that end cap. Hold on to that torque tool. I recommend keeping that in your glove box so it's ready when you're ready to go. Some other things that you may notice is if there is whistling, double check that the rubber strips on top are all in place, and also check that underneath you've pushed in all those tabs to your towers, and that will decrease all those openings for wind noise. This right here was a look at your Thule Roof Rack system with the 53-inch WingBar Evo crossbars and the Thule Evo feet for raised rails right here on the 2022 Toyota 4Runner.